All right, there we go. We are live. Computer troubles and all, and I mean not our computer, the big computer, the big daddy of computers is having trouble, and of course, who are we not to have trouble? It's Michael Knight, New York Vinnie. He's Michael Knight.
He's New York Vinnie. He's in Seattle. I'm in LA, and the events of the weekend are haunting us, whether it's baseball, football, or politics.
Yeah, that was a disturbing weekend. No matter what you're into.
Yeah, pick your poison.
What way you lean, what you're into. That was a disturbing weekend from the point of Washington football, from the point of Mariner baseball, from the point of the President of the United States. Just it all was.
And don't forget the Marines test firing their equipment on the Highway 5 with shrapnel falling on the commuters.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. That's a new one. I hadn't.
Camp Pendleton down San Diego way was the
site
of
one
all
of my
that.
favorite spots.
They wanted to show everyone what live fire was like. They didn't count on the shrapnel falling onto the cars of Highway 5.
So anybody get killed or hurt?
Unfortunately, Hegstead is still with us.
We're a mess, man. We are. I should probably bring the microphone down here, although it doesn't seem to be doing much good. We are a certified blue chip mess.
A hot mess.
And just all of the things that I saw this weekend. It was disturbing, Michael. We had a disturbing weekend. We had as disturbing a weekend as you could probably muster up. Does that sound all right, by the way?
Sounds great.
Okay. Let's. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I guess start with the Mariners and work your way back. Right. That was
it was disappointing. They looked ill prepared. They had long faces. The energy level was not there. The attention to detail for playing, for running the bases, for batting, swinging at bad pitches. It was all there. And I was surprised to see that level of morose misgivings seem to take over the team. And they didn't have it. They didn't have whatever you need to win.
Yeah, they look beat. I mean, I don't want to say from the first inning because I think but I will say because when you ground into double plays to end an inning 3 innings in a row.
Oh, did you notice that?
Something's not. I mean, you can call it the luck of the draw. You can call it the other pitcher is good. But I don't know. After the second inning, I probably would have tried something different. Probably would have tried to bunt. I probably would have. I don't know what I would have done. But and they just looked like that, along with the pitching, which was suspect to say the least.
Less than stellar, and also the lineup. They changed the lineup, and it was a little unproductive.
Well, but did they? Yeah. See, I sometimes think that you have to. Well, I've seen it work both ways, Michael. That's the thing. When you're around this game long enough, you see it work both ways, and so you say, "Is it?" Because I've seen Danny change the lineup, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
And then I've seen him change the lineup and get a result like you got last night. Now, it appeared to me at some point in this game that there was something beyond just what was going on the field.
What do your spies tell you?
And I don't know what it was. I mean, God rest his soul. Jesus Montero was a great catcher for this organization for 4 years, but I don't think his death, which happened over the weekend, would have had that kind of impact on the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
So we can take that one off the board.
Well, Vinny, I'm going to add to our woes. I got an upset stomach, and I'm going to have to adjourn myself for the rest of the show.
All right.
Kristen is great after her surgery. I'm taking care of her, but
good.
Got too many balls in the air right now. I'm not feeling really sharp, so I have to say adieu.
All right. Why don't you say adieu, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday when we're either the champions or.
We'll know tonight. I'll be there watching with you.
All right, Mikey. I'll be watching with you tonight, pal. See you later.
See you, Ben. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Michael
you.
is going to take off. I'm just going to finish out my thought, and then I'm going to go. Yeah, it just seemed like last night. I just don't know. These are the times when I regret not being in the clubhouse and the team reporter and stuff like that anymore, because you look at things and you say to yourself, something else went on last night. Was there and I don't know this for sure. I don't know anything that happened in that clubhouse. Maybe nothing happened in that clubhouse. But the Seattle Mariners that took the field in Toronto last night was a very different Seattle Mariners than we have seen most of this playoff series. Most of this league championship series, it's just different. It was different last night. And you could see the differences in the way they stepped up to the plate, the balls they were chasing, the balls they were taking, the total non-crispness of an infield that was stellar just 2 days before. I mean, it was just a lot of mistakes last night. Now, hopefully, they rise to the occasion tonight. And they're able to get past what happened yesterday and go out there and play their A game. Dan Wilson is able to pull the right strings at the right time. Whoever he pulls the strings for is able to respond to that challenge. And that they're able to go up against the Dodgers in the World Series. They're able to take the curse, the mojo, the whatever you want to call it, off of the Seattle Mariners' back and get them to the World Series and get them to a win. And they got a tough road tonight. They're going to have to do it in a really hostile stadium in the Rogers Center. But it's not impossible. I was looking at some stats here. And you know me, I'm not a stats guy. I'm not one of those people who look at stats and go, oh, you got to do like that. I'm not, managers that are like that, people that go by stats. Sometimes, you can get caught up with not seeing the emotion. You can get caught up in not seeing the intangible, the thing that the manager sees, the reason that they have a manager there instead of a computer, so that they can get the feeling of how guys are feeling about their situation. Now, there's only one game. Now, Game 7's a great. I wish I had Bill Wooten around. I didn't think of it until just a few minutes ago to get him. And Bill Wooten is one of my Facebook friends. He's an author about a book about Game 7s and how it's the ultimate in sports. That a Game 7 event, why do all of these different sports have a Game 7? And it's because the stars come out. People shine. It's almost an unspeakable code in Game 7s that everybody pulls out all the stops. Everything is on the line, on the table. Starting pitchers coming in as relievers. Bench players coming in as substitutes. Whatever it might be. It's on the table for Game 7 in any sport, not just baseball. But this is a team that, the Mariners have never been to a Game 7. The Blue Jays have only been to one, and they lost it, the Royals, in 1985. So one of these teams will be celebrating its first Game 7 victory tonight, unless, something really strange happens. But the 5:08 start, it'll be George Kirby versus Shane Bieber. Now, Bieber looked decent, but he didn't look unbeatable. The surprising thing to Seattle fans, and I'm sure to Seattle players, is how strong this rotation was during the year and how much it has fallen off the table in the postseason. I mean, the whole thing of the Seattle Mariners was supposed to be pitching. If you have pitching like that, you don't have to have the hitting. You can get by on X, Y, and Z. You can get hitters out. You can make noise. You can do what you need to do in the postseason. I mean, remember, just not too long ago, it was the lineup that we were all worried about. How many times they had fallen down and twisted their knickers with runners in scoring position. This team had phenomenally bad numbers with runners in scoring position. And they went out and they got a couple of guys at the trading deadline and re-signed a couple of guys that supposedly would make that better. Last night, we did not see that. But it's a snapshot. It's one game out of a series. Although, when you look at the ERA numbers, it scares you, it shakes you. Logan Gilbert with a 7.71. Luis Castillo with an 11.57. George Kirby, tonight's starter, 18.00 ERA. 4 starts for those guys have lasted just 13 and a third innings. Brian Wu, who has only pitched, 3 innings? 2 innings out of the bullpen. Allowed a run. Everybody's going to be available, but how do you slot them in? Who do you know is going to be ready to go? I mean, every pitcher in that rotation is going to tell you they're ready to go. But if they want to be meeting the Dodgers next week, or later this week, I should say, they better start pulling some rabbits out of the hat. And they better get some of that mojo going. Because it is not looking good. Numbers-wise. Now, emotions-wise, it looks about as good as it could. You have a number of your guys that got you here ready to go. You have a number of your guys that that got you to this series available. You got all your relievers pretty much available, right? I mean, I don't think in this situation that you are looking at tonight, you don't have anybody that's going to say, I don't know, Chief, my arm. They're going to go out there and throw. The trick is going to be knowing, conocente, knowing the guys that are faking you and the guys that are jaking you and the guys that are ready to go. Just like you have to know when you go out to the mound, if a guy says, leave me in, coach, to the pitching coach, or leave me in, Skip, to the skipper, that they want to stay in. You got to be able to tell that, to know that. Now, that's where Dan Wilson comes in and his experience as a catcher, as well as somebody who is running the team. He seems to have a good sense of knowing when to pull him. Although some will say, and I don't totally disagree with them, that he seems to have an early trigger finger on pulling some of these guys. You know, the guy was pitching good, pull him out. Wait a minute. What? The manager knows. And I'm going to side with Dan Wilson on this because in thinking about it, and listen, I was sitting there throwing stuff at my TV the other day saying, why are you pulling this guy out? Why are you pulling that guy out? But I know that he knows that pitching staff. I know that he knows when to pull a guy and when to leave him in. I know he knows when a guy is run out of gas. And I don't think anybody, on that team, save for the pitching coach, would know it better. And so I got to say, in Dan, we trust. Lineup changes, maybe that's a different story. Maybe seeing some of the lineup changes, I don't know if I would have done that. I wouldn't. But also, how does that figure into play on the field? To the grounding into double plays 3 innings in a row like that with runners in scoring position. So you will have to, you have no choice, but you will have to remember the old saying that we used to say in the 2000s. In Lou, we trust. Well, we just changed it to in Dan, we trust. And you go on from there. You have to trust that you have the right guy. He got them here. He got them to this point. We are all armchair managers. We are all great at managing the club while sitting on the couch eating some nachos. We are all great at managing this club sitting at the channel marker at a chair. Which is, by the way, where I went last night to watch the game. And I got to tell you, it was a festive crowd. It was a good crowd in the channel marker in Edmonds, down by the Edmonds Marina down there. Great place. Edmonds got some great bars to watch Mariner games in. Rory's, the channel marker. There's just a bunch of good places. Although I was worried last night when I sat down to order a hot dog, and the waiter said that he didn't know if they had sauerkraut. He wasn't completely familiar with sauerkraut. I got a little nervous when I asked for a hot dog with sauerkraut, but he found it, he got it, and he delivered. Tonight, I think it's a meal of pork chops and red cabbage for the game. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know that you could predict a winner tonight. Yeah, I could all say Mariners, and we hope, and we're going to do the mojo, and we're going to say our prayers in front of Holy Rosary, and we're going to do all the things we need to do to prepare for tonight's victory. And we're going to believe until they squeeze the last ounce of belief out of us that the Mariners can win tonight. I think that we're going to do that. We're going to have that. We're going to try to bring that feeling of positivity. We're going to try to bring that feeling of the whole city is behind you, the whole region, the whole Northwest is behind you. As a matter of fact, we might try to bring the whole feeling that the whole country is behind you. Because tonight, my friends, the Mariners are America's team. It is us against them. Do you want to see a foreign team representing? This is for the Trumpers. Do you want to see a foreign team representing the United States? Or do you want to see an American team representing the United States? No, you want to see an American team, a group of good old American boys that are mostly from the Dominican Republic. Anyway, it just has to make you feel good that we got to a game 7, excuse me. It has to make you feel good that we got to a game 6 even. That was crazy. That was the second weekend in a row that Saturday morning, when I did drive time on Saturday morning, a show about cars, that the first half of the show was about baseball. Couldn't just sit there and not talk about what had happened the night before. This week, the Grand Slam. The week before, just the monstrous 15-inning game. The instant classic that will live on now in front of the memories of the double, and in front of the memories of Junior, and in front of the memories of everything that has come since then. I mean, you think about how long it's been for this club since they have had a legitimate sniff of a World Series. 7 games. Game 7 is a legitimate sniff. 7 games. A game 7 is, you're right up there. You battled the other team to as far as you could go, and for whatever reason, you could not prevail. And I'm thinking this now as a Toronto person. You couldn't get it. You couldn't do it. You can't do it. But they have their, pieces of good luck charm, and they have their mojo, and have their magic hats, and they have rally caps, and they have everything. The only thing they don't have that we have is that voice of Dave Niehaus. And, I think that goes a long way. We have that spirit of Dave. We have his daughter, who was involved in just bringing that mojo, the Niehaus family mojo, his wife, Marilyn, the queen of Marinerdom. They should have flown her to Toronto. They should put her on a plane right now and fly her to Toronto. Fly both of them to Toronto and have them sitting in the stands there. But I don't know. Both teams are evenly matched. Their superstar came through last night. Our superstar didn't. Their superstar, though, tempted the fates. Their superstar, though, played with the fickle finger of fate. When their superstar hit a home run in last night's game, he looked toward the dugout and he didn't taunt him. I don't want to say it's taunting him. But he keeps giving him that little, shush sign, like, this will shut you up. And I've always said you act like you've been there before. You hit a home run, yeah, you celebrate. I don't particularly think that the trident stuff is a great thing, but the fans like it. The players seem to like it. The jacket is kind of cool. Fans like it. The players seem to like it. It seems to be a part now of baseball in its current day configuration. There was a time when you couldn't do that. There was a time when you didn't sit there and admire what you did. You hit the ball over the fence. You ran around the bases. You got congratulations from your teammates, and you went into the dugout. You sat down. Your teammates came over to you one by one and slapped you on the back, congratulated you, slapped you 5. You didn't look over to the other dugout and taunt the other players or stick your finger in their face. Not usually. And you certainly didn't do it if you didn't and come out the next time you were on bat and not expect to get one put in your ear or close to your ear. But those days are gone. We don't have that anymore. Could you imagine if Vladimir Guerrero would have done that to Bob Gibson or Don Drysdale? They'd be picking himself up off the floor several times. Yeah, well, Commissioner just got away from me. You know what happens? I was in a game and I was nervous. The code took care of it. They took care of it. The players took care of it. Now it's a different thing. But I think Guerrero took it a little bit over the top. Nothing wrong with a guy celebrating and to his teammates and everything. But when you turn to the other dugout and you taunt them, be careful what you ask for. You might get it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, anyway, Game 7 tonight. George Kirby, whose numbers are atrocious in the postseason. You got to think that Brian Wu will probably be on the way out of the ready to come in at the first faltering of Kirby. You're not going to waste too much time. You don't have time to waste. This is your game. You got to pour everything into this game. Who cares if you don't have if you have to shuffle your rotation again to start game one of the World Series. You should be lucky enough to have that problem. I don't know. You know who does it come down to who has the biggest moment tonight? Does it come down to the guys who signed the big contracts in the offseason? The Guerreros, the Raleighs. I mean, Cal Raleigh hit 60 home runs during the season. Rodriguez is starting to show the ability to motivate this team, to carry this team if he must. Starting to show it. And keep it with that youthful exuberance. By the way, did you happen to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s hit last night where he broke the bat? Did you see? If you have it in your clips, slow it down and look at it. The ball was hit 3 times by the bat. 3 times. So that was that was something that was a little strange. Don't get depressed too early. I mean, unless the Mariners go down, God forbid, unless the Mariners go down by 10 runs early in the game, which is not going to happen. You know, and I know, we both know that the Mariners are not going to go down by that much earlier in the game. But if you see that they can't get anything going, don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. Don't lose your hope and faith until the last out. Keep it. If baseball has shown us one great thing, it is that the Mariners, any team really, not just the Mariners, any team can stage a comeback before the last out, before the last strike. We've seen it. We've watched it. We've had it done to us. We've done it to others. And we've seen how this game is built to give you those moments. And it's going to be a heartbreak for somebody. I mean, it's either going to be, 50,000 fans going home from that stadium, awful, brokenhearted, or a couple of people here. I'm saying that facetiously. More than a couple of people here who you won't want to you won't want to see them tomorrow. I prefer that Toronto have that feeling, that empty feeling. But you know what? Prepare yourself. It's going to feel, if they do lose, it's going to feel like Game 7 did in 93 with the Sonics. 94, wasn't it? Yeah, 94 with the Sonics and the Denver Nuggets. It'll have that feeling. It'll have that effect on the city. It'll bring that to you. That's what these Game 7s do. They break your heart. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose. Good time Charlie's got the blues. But somebody is going to come out of that game a victor, unless Bud Selig shows up and says, just keep playing until the team I like wins. So we will see. Don't get too bent out of shape if they lose. I have a firm belief that they're not gonna. I have a firm belief, and I don't know what it is. It's nothing in the stats to show me. It's nothing in anything that shows me except my own faith that this team, it's their time, it's their place. They are about to rise to the occasion. They have the ability to rise up, and this afternoon, damn it, they will rise up. And if I'm wrong, I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. But I don't think I am. I think there's guys on this team that have waited for this a long time. Edgar Martinez and Dan Wilson. Never sniffed a Game 7 LCS win. I think of Dave. I mean, listen, I can't help but think of Dave Niehaus. Now, I know that the Dave is guiding it and everything is fun stuff to talk about. But maybe his spirit is pushing things around a little bit. Maybe he's in heaven and he can push the right buttons or strings or whatever. It's not going to be for lack of his family trying. I think it's a beautiful thing to see them involved in this franchise and the way they are. You know, for many years, this franchise didn't have that tradition. And now we do. There's something to build on. The people that went out in 95 and 96 and 97 and saved baseball in this town. Not just on the field, but the politicians who stuck their necks out to save baseball in this town. They've been waiting a long time, too. They made a promise. I mean, how many times did you hear Mayor Greg Nichols and Mayor Norm Rice and, council presidents and people who were involved in politics? I think of Senator Van Leuven, Steve Van Leuven, who authored the bill in Olympia to create the stadium, to create the bill that got the stadium funded. I think of those people, and I hope they're watching if they're still with us. I hope that they're I know that Pete von Reichbauer is. I saw a picture of Pete von Reichbauer, the county councilman from the great King County Council. And you may complain about the King County Council, but without them, you wouldn't have had baseball here. And without von Reichbauer, who knew how to dance things through, you wouldn't have had baseball here. Yeah, they may be older looking now, But I also remember, and I saw a picture on Facebook last night that really touched my heart. And I've been having my heart touched a lot over the last week or so. That picture of Greta Niehaus in her father's at her father's statue was priceless. I'll remember that picture till the day I die. I'm going to get a copy of that picture and frame it and put it in my living room. But I saw a picture of a guy whose name you really don't hear too much these days. But I saw a picture of a guy now in his 90s, John Ellis. And that name may not mean a lot to many of you. But there was a guy that did his damnedest to make sure that it happened. He wasn't always right. He wasn't always perfect. But he helped this team. He was an immense help to getting this team to stay here when they were going to bolt off for other places before the papers were signed. And I saw his picture last night, and I just, you know, he's like I said, he's in his early 90s now. And I just looked and saw, you know, if this guy was walking down the street, you wouldn't know who he is probably if you're of a certain age. But I think of all the people that this moment wouldn't have happened without. And all the people who are responsible for making sure that this team did not leave this town. And I go back to saying, as I said back then, I'm glad we did this. The sacrifices that we made in those days were worth it. Every bit of it. And believe me, a lot of people made a lot of sacrifices. A lot of people put a lot of skin on the table so that this would happen. And I hope that when this team gets to the World Series, and I'm going to go with when they get to the World Series, that those people are remembered. And those people are at least, I mean, you don't have to throw a party for them, but at least have a good thought for them. The people that aren't with us anymore. So, listen, it's going to be a wild night tonight. You're going to have the Seahawks and the Mariners playing at the same time on Monday night. That's an oddity that we made contingency plans for. There's contingency plans because all along when we were going to county council and city council and all these different places about how would it affect Seattle traffic if the Mariners and the Seahawks had to play on the same date at the same time. Now the Seahawks are out of town, but you get to find out what would happen. I trust that the stadiums aren't going to blow up. I trust that bad things aren't going to happen. And I hope, sincerely hope, that the Mariners and the Seahawks will come out on top. That's going to do it for this edition of Mikey and Vinnie. I'm New York Vinnie. Thank you so much for listening. Probably open up my Facebook channel at some point tonight while I'm watching the game. I didn't even know where I'm going to go to watch it. If you're having a nice party over your house, call me. Maybe I'll come over. Or maybe I'll go to the channel marker. I don't know. Where's Mike Brown when you need him? Anyway, enjoy the game. Enjoy the love of baseball. And enjoy this memory-making evening with your families. They deserve it. You deserve it. We all deserve it. Let's go, Mariners. I'll see you on Wednesday morning if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. When we go to the World Series tonight, I'll probably come on after the game and just sit here and talk for a few minutes and entertain the thousands of you that are listening. So hopefully you'll be there. I'll be here, and we'll be celebrating going to the World Series. We'll see you on Wednesday if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. And remember, peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. What a wine, as Mikey would say. All right. See you. Bye.